Welcome to our 50th video, unboxing and assembling a toy Silverado truck. This is a brand new Chevy Silverado toy truck by Rollplay that I assembled this morning for our grandson, and it took me about 3 hours. I want you to join me now in the process of assembling this truck. We unboxed this today, and we are going to invite you to come along with us as we assemble this Chevy Silverado truck by Rollplay. Well, good day, folks, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Gary Benny, the old church, 5-acre homestead. Well, guess what I'm going to be doing today? I'm going to be unboxing this Silverado toy truck by Rollplay. It's an Easter gift to our grandson James from his dad and his grandparents. And James hasn't seen this yet. He's probably going to be quite excited when he does. I'm going to be unboxing this today and taking a look at it. I'm going to take you along on that process. Hey, before we begin the unboxing process, let's just take a quick look at the label on this box. It tells us that it is a 12-volt ride-on, a Chevrolet Silverado toy truck. It's black in color, just like mine, and it is by Rollplay. It tells us down on the bottom here that it can go from 4 to 8 kilometers per hour or 2.5 to 5 miles per hour. Okay, it says that the dashboard inside this toy truck is very realistic, okay, very detailed. It's for ages 3 plus. Rubber traction strips are on the tires for better grip. It has 2 functional or opening doors on this pickup, and it also has a working tailgate. And there's some other bonus features down here too. I'll just zoom in, and if you want to, you can take a look at this on your own time. A quick examination of the top of this cardboard packaging, ladies and gentlemen, shows that it is very well taped together. So there's tape all along this top edge. Now, I have a utility knife here that I'm going to be using to open this top. And then I'm going to take out the toy Silverado from inside this packaging. So with my utility knife here now, I'm just going to cut the plastic. Cut the plastic tape all the way around. Cutting fairly easy. We'll go around the corner here. Okay, now I should be able to flip open the top. It's also glued, so like I said, very well packaged. Okay, pretty soon we'll have this box open here now. Unboxing a toy Silverado pickup by Rollplay. Here I have it laid down here on the floor. Now I'm just going to reach inside this cardboard box, folks, and slide the truck out. Okay, I have it half out here now, and I'll take it out the remainder of the way. Okay. All right, we have it all the way out of this cardboard packaging there now, and we're just going to take off the plastic and some of those pieces of cardboard that was there to protect the case during transportation. Okay, I have the outside plastic bag taken off the toy truck there now. Going to take off some of this packaging as well. And for that, I'm just going to use my my trusty utility knife again. I cut these cardboard spacers or packaging pieces. And with those cut, I should be able to just lift off. All right. Okay, there's some various smaller parts there. Okay, and some casing. Okay, I'm looking for an instruction manual now. As I remove the packaging from this toy truck, I'm going to put the packaging in the larger plastic bag right there. And then I'll put the larger plastic bag back in the cardboard box and put the cardboard box away for storage. I also have this fold out table there and I'm going to put all the various pieces and components on this table, and hopefully I'll find the instruction manual very, very soon. Various parts here, like I said, I'll just lay them up here on the table. The doors, and the windshield, the seats. Okay, I might have should have got probably another table. I got a couple of these tables around, so I probably should have got another one. All right, there's the instruction manual. That's what I'm looking for. And this is the instruction manual. Okay, there's the hubs, the Silverado hubs. They look pretty cool, hey? I think they do. And I'm sure James will too. Well, there's the mirrors. I'm going to open up the instruction manual now, and let's have a look at that together. So I had to go and get another one of my tables. A little bit of plastic left there. Okay, I have the body of the truck laid up on this second table here now. All of the components and attachments and all that stuff for the assembly is all spread out. A big pile of it is there on the table. Some is along the floor here in my garage. There's a couple of packages of mechanical components right here. So let's go through the manual step by step, and let's put this toy Silverado pickup truck together. So here's the manual. That's the cover. Okay, the company address and stuff like that, and the various components about the battery and the motor, charging time, and all that's wrote inside the cover. Okay, some important information here about the battery. Do not return this item to the store. Read the entire manual to ensure proper assembly and safe operation of the vehicle. The next page actually does get into and starts off with safety, and then it lists all the various parts that came with the toy truck. And over here, this is a list of all the safety instructions and warnings. Okay. Okay, more warnings about the battery. A warning about adult supervision is being required, and of course, James and all young kids should be wearing their helmets and various safety apparel and PPE when operating these kinds of vehicles. And here's all the components spread out in this graphic. Very important graphic because I'm going to be following this. This is hopefully a really good step-by-step process, and I'll let you know if it is as we continue the process of putting this vehicle together, and you'll come along with me, and we'll unpackage and assemble this toy Silverado together. The first piece of instruction here tells us that we must charge the battery for 24 hours before use. Now, the battery is actually located back here underneath the seat where the seat goes. So I'm going to have to get a Phillips screwdriver. And I'm not sure if one came with it or not, but I have lots of Phillips screwdrivers. So I'll be removing the battery from there, and I need to find the charger cord. And I believe this is the charger cord right here inside the packaging. So I'll be opening that right now with my utility knife. And the very first thing we'll do is we'll get out that battery, and we'll land over there on the table there, and we'll charge the battery up. We'll plug it into that plug-in right there, and we'll leave the battery overnight here in our garage. So I've removed this screw with my Phillips screwdriver, and there's a metal bar that keeps the battery in place. So all you have to do, folks, is just slide the bar out of its place, and we'll just lay it right here next to where the battery goes back for now. And then we'll just take the battery up by its handle, and we will carry the battery over to my bench. And we'll lay it right there. Okay, we'll go now and get the power cord. And here's the power cord. I've already unboxed that. And we'll just hook this battery up now. Okay, I have the battery plugged in now to its charger cord, and the charger cord plugged into power through the outlet here. There is a red indicator light there now. That's on. I'm hoping that will turn green when it is fully charged, and we won't know that until tomorrow morning. After putting the battery on the charge, our very first step is to locate the support lateral bars. And there's a right one and a left one, and then a center one that goes through the middle. Okay, so we're going to locate those, and I found them. They are in this longer box here. Okay, so there's the right and there's the left. This one says left onto it, and the right one has an R onto it for the right side. For this step, it said to carefully turn the truck bottom up on its back, and I have it here on this old table, and I took a couple of those tires that are still wrapped, and I laid them here for support just to kind of like level up the truck. And those two rods that we talked about, they just need to go in a slot here at the back, and be sure to put the right side one on the right side, and the left one needs to go on the left side. Now, just before you put these two support bars in place, there's also a lateral support bar that has to be put through the two support rods first before you put them into place and screw them in. I'm going to show you that now. So if you want, you can just put that support bar in place on the floor of your garage or shed, wherever you're putting this together. And it also goes into these square holes in the support bars, okay? So this one across here is called the lateral support bar, and it has to be put in place first before you put the support braces in through these two square holes here. One on the right side and one on the left side, and then you need to screw them in. Okay, those rear support bars, they go into a special slot here at the back of the Silverado truck, and you got to put them in correctly, and there are slots that they go into. And so when you get them in, they line up right here for a couple of screws, okay? So this is the right side now that I'm showing you, okay? The left side is identical, so make sure you do the same thing with the left side. And again, okay, and again, the left side also goes in and lines up to attach a couple of screws. Now, I'm going to be putting these screws in, and I'm going to be using my screwdriver. I'm not going to be using a drill, because you can over torque with a drill and you really can't control the torque. So it's best that you use just a handheld screwdriver and take your time and screw those screws in. And when they get hand tight, give it a little extra turn, and that should be fine. Our next step is to attach this rear axle here. And in order to do that, we had to remove this rubber cap on the end right here. And it has to go through this little slot right here. We now have the rear axle put through the back support bars here. Okay, so that step is done. Our next step is to install and attach the gearboxes. Now, this is there's one for the right side and also one for the left. Here they are in this box over here. To correctly install the gearboxes, this bushing right here has to go over this shaft right here, this rear axle. So we're going to have to take off that rubber cap here, and the gearbox then goes into this slot right here. Okay, so I'll show you that. Okay, to attach the gearboxes, now there's a certain way to do that. It has to go in over the shaft. Okay, so make sure you do that, and then it slides into that slot as I was telling you, and it goes in a certain way. And then make sure that the electrical component here with the wires at the back goes into this slot, and that you poke the wires down through underneath. Now, when you poke it down through underneath, okay, hopefully you can see this, okay, this is the left side, okay, and the two end pieces that clip together are yellow on the left hand side, and there's a certain way they go, so they'll just clip together. Over on the right side, the two ends of wire are white, okay, so if you put them on backwards, you'll know, because you'll have a white and a yellow on one side and a white and a yellow on the other side, and that's not the way it's supposed to go. Okay, the next step, ladies and gentlemen, in assembling this Silverado toy pickup truck by Rollplay is to assemble the rear wheels. Now, how do we know which wheels are rear? Two of the wheels came in blue packaging, and two came in clear packaging. Well, inside the packaging, we have these French words, a rear roue and a avant roue. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, and my apologies to our French-speaking people, but I did do a little Google search, and avant roue means front wheel. So the two wheels that's in the blue packaging will go on the front, and the two wheels in the clear packaging will go on the rear. And upon closer inspection, and upon taking the rear wheels out of its clear plastic packaging, you can clearly see the English words here written on the inside of the tire, rear wheel. And we know this is the inside of the tire because it has this molded gear here. And that molded gear will go right inside the plastic mold that's here on the gearbox. So let's assemble the two rear wheels now. Now folks, in an earlier step, we had to take these rubber caps off the rear axle or the shaft that went through the rear there. And inside these rubber caps are the washers and the nuts that keep the rear axle in place on the wheel. And in order to put those on, the assembly also came with this wrench. So this is the wrench that we are going to use to attach the two nuts on the rear axle. So you'll need to put on the washer first, and here's the washer, and then you'll put on the nut. Now there's a flat edge to this nut and a rounded edge, so make sure you put the flat edge in toward the wheel and tighten it. Okay, and then use the wrench that came with the packaging. And just give it a few turns. It's pretty much flush right there now. You can see the edge of the shaft just coming through the top of the nut, and it is pretty flush there. Now I'm going to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Give it a few turns. Okay, take off the wrench and have a look. Okay, still a little bit of a dent in there, so we're just going to give it a few more turns. But like I said, I want to make sure that that axle is pretty even on both sides. Okay, let's have another look. Okay, now it's come out a little bit over on this side, so let's go over and we'll do the same thing over on the left side. Okay. Well, again, do not over tight. Okay. This kind of work really just needs to be using hand tools. No power tools for this stuff. Okay, so but same thing there now. Okay, so I think we're pretty cool. We're pretty good here now on the assembly of these rear tires. Now that we have the rear wheels assembled and put onto this truck, we are now going to go to the front of the vehicle and we're going to assemble the front wheels. Okay, when assembling the front wheels, ladies and gentlemen, it's a little bit different, not much. You'll notice, for example, that there are no gearboxes on the front, like we had to do on the back here. So we will not be installing any of those. They just go on the back. Up on the front, here you have these control arms for the steering. Now, on this end right here, you'll notice that it has two washers and a nut. Now, I've already removed the rubber cap that was there. And you make sure that when you put the wheel on, that you keep the thicker washer inside, take the nut and the washer off, put on the wheel, and then put the thinner washer on and then the nut. Okay? You'll also notice that the front tires are a little bit different too. There's a bowl shape or an indentation on the inside part of the wheel, and on the outside it's just a little flat there, and that's just to accept the hub that goes on the wheel once it's assembled. Okay, so make sure that you put the bowl or the indentation of the wheel facing in. We have the front wheels assembled. Okay, so all wheels are now assembled on this Silverado truck, and the next step now is to turn the truck over on its wheels and to attach the truck bed. Okay, here in the instructions for assembling the truck bed, it tells us to use 13 of the screws, the same screws that we used to attach the support bars earlier. So here they are in this blister pack. So we're going to use 13 of those now to assemble the truck bed. Now here's the truck bed. I have it put here on the table. Okay, so we're going to be putting the truck bed in place now. And the instructions clearly explain to us and show us also where those 13 screws go. Okay, you can see it there. Okay, it's showing us where they go, and the holes are already pre-drilled. So we should have no difficulty putting in the truck bed. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that step. I want to mention to you as well that the instructions for this step also said that once you've turned the truck over on its wheels, have a look at the wiring for the gearboxes and make sure they are attached. Now you could do it in this step when you turn the truck over on its wheels, or you could have done as we did, which was attach these wires in the harnesses underneath when we put the gearboxes in. So we have these already assembled. Okay, so we've attached the 9 screws on this part, on the top part of the truck. Okay, there's a couple there,
3 more along there, 2 more over there, and then there's a couple here in the bed of the pan of the truck. Now we have to turn the truck over again, and remember those support bars that we attached earlier? Now there's a couple of holes in those for screws to attach the trunk bed as well, and we're going to do that now. All right, with the truck turned over now, we can see these support rods that we installed earlier in one of the very first steps. And you'll notice that right at the very end of those support rods, there's a couple of places there for a couple of screws on the left hand side. And over on the right hand side, there's a couple of places there for a couple of more screws. And I have my Phillips screwdriver and the 4 remaining screws here ready to go for putting on the truck bed. All right, yeah, folks, not a whole lot left. With respect to assembling this Silverado truck by Rollplay. We have most of the assembling completed, actually.
And we thought that this was a great place in this video to ask you to like our video. And to politely ask as well, did you take a few seconds to subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner of this and all our YouTube videos. What's left now are the doors, the mirrors, the windshield, some decals have to go on and some hubs, and the seat has to go inside this truck and the steering, and that's about it. We are now going to attach the mirrors as shown in these instructions right here. Remove the mirrors 3 and 4 from the packaging. Align the holes on the mirror with the holes in the truck, and that seems pretty straightforward. Okay, insert the screw into the hole and fasten the nut with a screwdriver to secure the mirror, and we'll repeat that for both sides. This is the dashboard, folks, for this Silverado truck, and I'm getting ready to install that now. But I want to point out to you that there's a couple of wires coming out from the back of the dashboard, and there's also a matching set of wires coming out of the body of the truck, and they have to be clipped together. Okay, I have the wiring hooked up and most of the windshield and the dash put in place now. But I want to just show you something very carefully. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, you have to push down on the dash and then push it back. And then this, you'll see this gray clip right here. That has to go back and down over a mount. This is mostly all plastic, folks. So be very careful when pushing back the dash and making sure that that gray clip right there goes in over a mount for the screw. Do not attach the screws just yet. You will be attaching the screws for the dash and the doors at the same time. We have the dash, the windshield, and the mirrors put on. This Silverado truck is starting to look something sharp, folks. And we are getting ready now to do the steering. The steering rod is right here, this cane shape, this shepherd's cane shape rod is for the steering. We have to turn the Silverado truck over once more. So we're going to locate the steering rod, which we have. Insert the straight end of the steering rod into the steering rod hole on the dash. So it'll come up through right here, folks, right? Where the steering wheel is going to go, the rod will. Okay, the shorter curved end of the steering rod will insert through the round hole in the front axle. So there's the front axle, and there's the round hole that it's talking about. So we'll have to turn the truck over, and we'll put that rod in. And when I get the rod in, I'll show you that. Okay, not a difficult process, ladies and gentlemen. Putting in the steering column or the steering shaft in through the little hole here on the bottom, as per instructions. And I shoved it up to the hole here that goes up through the steering column into the dash for the steering wheel. I have the truck just up on its side here now. I don't think I needed to turn it over. Just got to make sure though that the steering rod right there now with its with the hole there doesn't fall back. The most difficult job here in this step is making sure that you can hold the shaft in place up through the steering column right here. You see the hole in the screw. That screw has to go through the steering column, through the hole in the shaft, okay, and it has to go through a pre-drilled hole in the steering wheel. So you got to kind of make sure that that all gets attached together. You might need a second person for that. I was able to do it. It took me a little bit of practice, but I managed to get the screw through the 3 holes, and I'm now ready to attach
this little nut that you see right here that goes on the other end of this screw on the other side so that the steering wheel stays in place. There's a nut right there, number 25, so that the steering wheel stays in place and that the shaft does not loosen up and go down through and fall out through the bottom. Okay, so make sure that you get that securely attached. The instructions for attaching the steering shaft or column and the steering wheel also includes instructions for removing this cap here right on the steering wheel where the two AA batteries go in. Now we're going to save that step for perhaps last. We have some batteries inside. I'll have to go into the house and get those, but we'll save that step for last, and perhaps when James comes over and sees his truck, we'll get James to do that final step. That might be a nice little step for James to do on his own. All right, the next step now is to attach the doors. And here's the instructions for the doors. Okay, we have the two doors over there on the table. And the instructions are pretty straightforward. Align the doors 5 and 6 with the interior facing on the inside of the truck. Position the hole on the door over the hole on the truck body, and slide the post on the bottom of the door into the hole on the truck body. Okay, insert the screw into the screw hole and fasten it securely. Okay, repeat steps 1 to 3 for the other door. Pretty straightforward, folks. So I'm getting ready here now to attach the passenger side door to the Silverado. And remember that mount piece that I was telling you about right in here? Okay, I have to attach the door here as well. So the dash and the door is kept in place with the same screw on both sides. And I have the screw there now ready to attach. And I had to go get my shorter, chubby Phillips screwdriver for this part because there wasn't enough space between where the screw had to go and the dash. So my longer yellow handle Phillips screwdriver was a little bit too long, so the shorter, stubby Phillips was better for this job. Okay, the two doors are attached now, the passenger side door and the driver's side door. Okay, not a lot left, ladies and gentlemen, with respect to assembling this Silverado. We've been following the instruction manual that came with the Chevy Silverado by Rollplay, and we've only got a couple of steps left. We have the gate that needs to be assembled, we have the hubs and the seat, and that's it. Okay, in this step, we are assembling the gate. Okay, and there's only a couple of steps to this one, so pretty straightforward. So keeping the tailgate, number 18 horizontal, align the tailgate with the holes in the truck bed. Once the tailgate is completely aligned with the slots in the bed, lift the bed door up until it clicks into place. So here's the gate. It looks pretty much like the gate on my Silverado truck. Okay, so we got to lift it up like the instructions said and put it in place. There's a little hole here, guys, a guiding hole that we got to make sure that we put it in place. And there's the mounts on the edge of the gate that has to go in those holes. So we got to make sure that we align that. Keep the gate horizontal. Okay, so across the truck, and just pop one of the clips in the hole, and the other one is just up a little bit, and so just gently push the gate down until it clips into place, and then lift up, and we have the gate all done. In this step, we are attaching the seat and the seat belt to the body of the truck, and there's a couple of things that I need to point out to you here. One is the seat locks in place, and you'll notice that on the seat, on both the driver's side and on the passenger side, are these locking screws. To put the seat in place, the screws have to be straight back and forth like that, and then to lock them, they have to be turned sideways. Okay, but before you can lock the front of the seats in place, the back has to be attached. On the back of the seats are these mounts right here, and then they clip into special holes on the back of the body. Oh, there's one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. Now, I'll show you those holes so you'll know where to attach them. Okay, you can see them there now really clearly. Okay, one is on the driver's side, as I said, and one is on the passenger side. Make sure you put them clips in first, and then you can lock the seats in place. Okay, there's the spaces for where the locks of the seats go. Back of the seat is in place here now, and we're going to go up to the front of the seat, secure these two screws. Now, as I said, they have to be straight back and forth like they are there now, and then they need to be turned. Now, you should be able to turn these with your hand, but you might want to go get yourself a flat top screwdriver just in case.
All right, folks, for the most part, we have this Chevy Silverado Truck by Rollplay pretty much assembled here now. We have a couple of minor steps left, and we are leaving those for our grandson, James. We have the hubs left, and they're sitting here in the truck bed, and he'll put those on when he comes by and sees his truck for the first time. As I said at the beginning of this video, this was an Easter gift to James for Easter, and hopefully he's going to enjoy it. Now, I want to take a little bit of time before we conclude this video and talk to you about the dash. There are some important buttons on the dash and some important functions that you're going to need to know, and you're going to need to share with your son or daughter if they're going to be operating this Silverado truck. Okay, first let's talk about where the two AA batteries go. They go there. We are not going to install them yet. We'll leave that for James as well. But you'll notice on the steering wheel, there's a left and a right button. One to the left is for the horn, okay? And one to the right is for the engine sound. Now, I want to talk to you about right here, this volume control for an MP3 player. You can attach an MP3 player to this vehicle. Here's the cord, I have it already attached. And then the other hand needs to go into your MP3 player so you can have some music while you're operating this vehicle. Now, there's three buttons right there. A red, a yellow, and a green. They are important. They are indicator lights. When the red one is on, that means that your battery is pretty much dead. The yellow one is a cautionary one, letting you know that your battery is soon going to be dead. And the green one, the indicator light, lets you know that your battery is functioning quite well and good, and you can use this this truck out and about. So here's the battery for the Chevrolet Silverado toy truck by Rollplay. It's been sitting here now for 24 hours, and let's have a look. The green indicator light is now on, so that means that the battery is fully charged, and we can now place this battery back inside its compartment underneath the seat in the toy Silverado truck. We need to access the battery compartment, which is underneath the seat. So we have to turn these two lock buttons that's in the front here of the seat, straight up and down, and then we can take the seat completely out. Be sure to follow our earlier discussion about removing the battery to return and reconnect the battery to its compartment underneath the seat. Okay, there's a lot of decals on the dash of this truck as well, ladies and gentlemen, and they're just decals, as I said. There's the time there and the speedometers there and a few other things. So a very nice little truck. It was very easily assembled. It wasn't difficult at all. I was able to follow the instructions that came with the truck in this big cardboard box. Okay, it was very well protected in the box, and there was lots of plastic wrap and lots of cardboard to keep the various parts safe inside the box for transportation and all that kind of stuff. I started assembling this truck around 11 o'clock this morning, Newfoundland time, and it is now around 2. So it took me about 3 hours to put together, to assemble this truck. So overall, I think it was an easy process to assemble. We will be posting this out to assemble, a Chevy Silverado truck by Rollplay, on our YouTube channel for you to go and watch. We unboxed this Silverado, as I said, at 11 o'clock this morning, and took us about 3 hours. Follow along our instructions, and we hope that you find the process that we followed and my instructions to you very easy to follow. Let us know in a few comments, and hopefully you'll be able to assemble one of these on your own for your child or your grandchild. All right, come on in, James. What do you think?
You did not. You did not.
What is it?
It's a truck.
Does it look familiar?
It's a truck.
Yep. Get in and sit down. Okay, that's for an MP3 player. You can actually plug in an MP3 player and listen to some music while you're driving around. Now, no, we don't have the sound working yet because we want to leave a couple of things for you to do. We need to put in a couple of AA batteries so that the horn and the engine works. And if you get out for a second, you'll notice that the hubs are not put on the tires or on the wheels.
I noticed that already.
Yeah, so we left a couple of things for you to do. All right, so you want to get at that and do that? All right, so turn on your engine. There's a start button you see in there on the dash?
Yeah.
There you go. Go for a ride. Here you go. Oh, look, we got two Silverados in the driveway.